Ferragosto in Italy started with Emperor Augustus. So what did the Vatican and Mussolini do to make it Italy's favourite summertime holiday? Trust me, most Italians don't even know the origins of Ferragosto, and you're about to find out. I'll be covering the origins and traditions surrounding Ferragosto. Plus I'll be sharing with you one thing that you should say to others leading up to and on the day of Ferragosto, and one traditional Ferragosto meal that you shouldn't pass up. Sei pronto? Are you ready? Andiamo! Every summer, Italians look forward to celebrating La Festa di Ferragosto, literally the Ferragosto festival. This is held on the 15th of August every year and celebrated in the weeks leading up to and after it. It serves as the peak of summertime. However, many people, even locals, don't know exactly what this holiday celebrates. But by the end of this guide, not only will you know the origins of this special day, but also how to spend it like a true Italian. So, what is Ferragosto and how did it start? La Festa di Ferragosto is a major summer holiday celebrated in Italy, Vatican City, San Marino, and Ticino, the Italian-speaking part of Sweden. Today, Ferragosto is considered a mostly public holiday with Catholic origins that acts as a last hurrah before the arrival of fall. However, its origins go back much further, all the way back to Impero Romano, the Roman Empire. The name Ferragosto is said to date from the 1st century AD. In 18 BC, Emperor Octavianus Augustus created the Feriae Augusti, literally Augustus celebrations, in celebration of his honour. From Latin, feria or feriae means holiday or day of celebration, while Augusti means of Augustus. Now, at the time, it was held on the first day of August and served as the first of a series of holidays meant to signify a period of rest after weeks of arduous labour in the season's heat. Rather than work the fields of the empire, Romans were able to attend entertaining horse races and parades of oxen and donkeys bearing flower crowns and saddles. Now, though all work came to a standstill, many employers chose to compensate their workers for their day away or their day off. This paid day off only added to the holiday's early popularity and longevity. It's also interesting to know that originally the month of August was called Sextilis, which is Latin for sixth month. Then in 8 BCE, the month was renamed in honour of Augustus Caesar, the first Roman emperor. The name August itself means inspiring reverence or admiration. Let's take a little sidestep here because this is really interesting. Who was Emperor Octavianus Augustus? Well, before he was known as Emperor Augustus, his birth name was Gaius Octavianus and was the grand-nephew of Julius Caesar. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE, he took on the mouthful of a name, Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus. However, he's often referred to as just Octavian when you read about him in English texts. Confusing, I know. Octavian later defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra in 31 BCE, where he gained control over the Roman Empire. It wasn't until 27 BCE that he was given the honorary title Augustus when he was named emperor. Let's go back to Ferragosto, shall we? So how has Ferragosto changed from its origins? Well, as Italy transitioned from being a pagan to a Catholic country, many Roman festività or festivities were adapted to fit the changes in society. Ferragosto was one such holiday that managed to survive. Let's dare un'occhiata, or take a look, at how this Italian holiday has evolved over the years. Ferragosto through the medieval ages. In order to facilitate Italy's transition to being a Catholic country, the Church assimilated some of the most popular Roman holidays by attributing new meanings to them. The origins of Ferragosto were mostly political, but having a day of rest that could be used for worship was a pillar of Catholicism. In order to keep the holiday in Italy's new religious society, the date of Ferragosto was moved from the 1st to the 15th of August. In this way, the date was no longer linked to the Roman emperor, but was instead meant as a day of celebration of Mary's ascension to heaven. Since this biblical event was previously uncelebrated by any particular festivities, it provided a perfect backdrop for this newly created festa, holiday. Many of the exciting and raucous events of ancient Rome were replaced with church services, prayer and religious processionals and blessings, though of course treating the day as a time for rest remained constant. Now let's take a look at how Ferragosto changed in the 20th century. For centuries, Ferragosto remained a strictly religious holiday. As Italy entered the Renaissance period and the country's politics started to move away from the church, celebrating Ferragosto became more of a tradition than a truly honoured day of rest and prayer. In 1925, Ferragosto underwent another massive change that helped the holiday simultaneously circle back to its roots, but also to modernise it for coming generations. At the time, Italy was governed by Mussolini, the leader of the fascist regime, that aimed to cultivate a national identity and culture after years of Italy being fragmented. Part of how that sense of culture spread was by encouraging Italian workers to travel to other parts of the country to visit cultural cities like Florence, Rome, Bologna, Verona, and Venice or Venezia, to see important sites and monuments. Travelling even short distances was out of the question for average Italians at the time. So the government encouraged 1 to 3 day trips by creating holiday trains with extremely low cost tickets and even paid for days off work. Now these trips marked the first time that many citizens had ever seen the sea or the mountains or these wonderful cities, and they opened the door for traditions that have lasted to this day. So how do Italians celebrate Ferragosto? The best way to spend Ferragosto is to celebrate it in true Italian style. In general, Italians tend to spend this holiday in 5 main ways. Let's take a look. Al mare, at the beach. Now the middle of August tends to be one of the hottest times of the year. The beach is often the only place where you can enjoy a relaxing day outdoors. In montagna, in the mountains. Taking a trip to the mountains or hilly parts of Italy is another Ferragosto tradition that started in response to Italy's usual August heat waves. Al parco, at the park. Since Ferragosto can lead to incredible crowds and traffic, a lot of Italians choose to spend their day close to home by planning picnics with friends and family at local parks and villas. Nei centri culturali, in cultural centres. Though less common now, for many years, Ferragosto was set aside by families as a day to visit some of the country's most important cultural and historical monuments, cities and sites. Now, as most people have Ferragosto off work, they're able to travel further than they would on a normal workday. Fuochi d'artificio, fireworks, mercati, markets, and backyard barbecues are other modern ways Italians celebrate Ferragosto during the summer holidays. Let's take a look at some Ferragosto traditions. Now, depending on where you are when you're celebrating Ferragosto will also determine what sorts of festivities you can participate in. Now, some places even keep the ancient spirit of the day alive with grand events. Here are a few of the most popular annual Ferragosto events. Siena in Tuscany hosts the Palio dell'Assunta horse race in the main square on August 16, and the day before is filled with excitement, markets and opening events. Sartiano in Tuscany hosts the medieval-inspired Giostra del Saracino, or Joust of Saracino. Porto Santo Stefano in Tuscany hosts a rowing race on the 15th called the Palio Marinario del Argentario. Messina in Sicily still retains Ferragosto's Catholic roots with a procession that carries the Vara di Messina, a large and ornate religious float dedicated to Mary, through the city streets. What do you eat at Ferragosto? Where you celebrate can also affect the typical dishes you might find at restaurants or festivals. The most common traditional Ferragosto meal is polenta and cinghiale, which is wild boar, to represent the coming fall and winter seasons. However, any sort of grilled and roasted meats, fish and vegetables are also common. And what do you say to someone leading up to and on the day of Ferragosto? Just like with any other major celebration, it's common to wish others buon Ferragosto, happy Ferragosto, especially when greeting friends and family for a picnic or a cookout. So what can you expect when spending Ferragosto in Italy? Of course, Italy is a gorgeous country that's worth visiting all year round. However, coming during August is a completely unique experience. That's for one main reason. It's the time of le ferie, vacation or holiday time. The tradition of using Ferragosto as a time for rest away from work is an enduring one. So many Italian families plan their summer trips around this holiday. This can lead to opposite situations coming up at the same time. For example, turisti, tourists. August is the busiest month when it comes to Italy's popular tourist sites and attractions, so crowds are at an all-time high. This is due to an influx of domestic tourism as Italians take advantage of their time off work to travel around the country, in addition to international visitors. This also leads to increased traffic on the roads and longer lines at stores, restaurants and attractions, as well as increased prices at hotels. So try to be patient if you visit during this time of year. Then we have chiusure, closures. It's a bit of a running joke that Italy comes to a standstill during the month of August. While large and essential businesses like grocery stores, post offices and pharmacies remain open in August, many others choose to close for at least part of the month, if not the entire month, so employees and employers can take their vacations. Some businesses choose to close for the entire month, but this is more common in less touristy locations. Instead, virtually all businesses and offices close on Ferragosto, with many choosing to remain closed for the holiday's Ponte, long weekend. Essentially, if you need to get any administrative things done in Italy in August, buona fortuna, good luck. So now that you know the ins and outs and the history of Ferragosto, if you're learning Italian, take this as an opportunity to expand your vocabulary and learn the following Italian words and phrases which are essential. Buon Ferragosto, happy Ferragosto. Le ferie, vacation or holiday relating to time off work. Assunzione di Maria, Assumption of Mary. La vacanza, le vacanze, vacation, vacations. Il ponte, this is a colloquial term for having a long weekend, literally bridge. Una gita, a trip. Gita fuori porta, an out-of-town trip. L'estate, summer. La festa, holiday or festival. Impero Romano, Roman Empire. Latino, Latin. La o le festività, festivity, festivities. Holiday, holidays. In montagna, in the mountains. Il mare, sea. La spiaggia, beach. Il parco, park. Il turismo, tourism. I turisti, tourists. Il traffico, traffic. Le chiusure, closures. Aperto, aperta, open. Chiuso, chiusa, closed. I fuochi d'artificio, fireworks. Ferragosto may be one of Italy's lesser-known holidays, but it's also one of the oldest. Though its celebrations have changed over the years from being a day of rest to a religious event, and finally a day of enjoying the summer weather, it's just as popular today as it was thousands of years ago. It may not have the flashy decorations and traditional treats like Christmas and Easter, but Ferragosto is the perfect holiday if you want to embrace the slower pace of Italy's dolce vita, sweet life. If you're planning a trip to Italy, make sure you brush up on your basic Italian or watch this video here. And if you want more advanced Italian lessons that use my unique 80-20 method, visit intrepiditalian.com, where you'll find my popular online self-paced video courses used by thousands of students around the world. In the meantime, buon Ferragosto. Un abbraccio. Ciao!